Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Armand here again for E equals MCU, and I wanted to kind of go over some things that's happened since the Loki finale with the character He Who Remains, which is the character known in the comics as Immortus, which is a variant of Kang. I kind of wanted to go over some things that have major implications going forward for the MCU, and just kind of where it kind of explains where things are kind of going in the MCU based upon that information. Now, there was an article that was written on the Murphy's Multiverse, in which they go over what they think, how the multiverse is a good thing and how it can be a bad thing. And I kind of wanted to speak upon that because I think they're absolutely spot on in this, and I think that's what we can look forward to and what we have coming here in the MCU. So as you can see, like with the screen I have on, that's the sacred timeline from Kang. And in the show, in the episode 6, when it starts to split apart, you see all of the different realities. And then it gets to a point where they start intersecting with each other, and it's a hint to what's to come, because this is ultimately a build-up to Secret Wars. I do think that Secret Wars will be the next Avengers movie, and I think it's coming sooner than we think. And on top of that, I don't think that we're going to get the rebooted or the new X-Men until Secret Wars. And that's partly business and partly just the kind of the story they want to tell going forward, because you're going to need that major franchise that can kind of fill in for the Avengers once it feels like the Avengers are kind of getting stale. So I think that's why we haven't had an actual X-Men announcement, and we might be getting the mutants before we get the actual X-Men. So but if you look at what He Who Remains said about Kang the Conqueror variant coming for them, and just basically what this does is it puts the whole universe in continuity. And you guys know I'm always arguing the fact that certain TV shows are not part of canon, and what I would argue with that is just that they're not part of the sacred timeline. And I think what Feige and his team are going to do is explain and kind of give a reason for why these shows are still canon, because they are Marvel shows with Marvel characters, but they were not part of the sacred timeline, and now going forward after this event will be part of the sacred timeline. You're definitely going to get this explained, and in the article that was on the Murphy's Multiverse, they explain, like, there are 3 projects we know of coming up that are going to kind of dive into is explain the mythology, the rules of the multiverse and time travel and everything that they set up in Endgame. That's going to be Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and then they also said Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania, and I think that is very important because we know that's where Kang is going to show up. I believe he'll probably show up there as Kang the Conqueror, and that will be the villain going into the next Avengers film. So we could possibly get an Avengers film right after Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which, by the way, is shooting right now already, which I think it has like a 2023 release date, but for some reason it's already shooting. So keep an eye on that. Maybe they bump it up or whatnot. So I also think that Secret Invasion, the Disney Plus show, might go into it a little bit. Like, they might tie that in with what's going on with the Secret Invasion. But basically, we're going to pull up their characters. We know that in Spider-Man, we're supposed to be getting Charlie Cox Daredevil. We're supposed to be getting a cameo from Deadpool. Are the iterations of those characters going to be the ones that were pulled from the TV shows or the other universe they came from, which within Deadpool's case we know will be true. But with specifically the Netflix shows and stuff like that, will they be the same iteration of the character, or will they be a different iteration of the character? And if it is the same iteration of the character, how do they explain if they're from a different timeline or not? So basically what Marvel Studios has done is set themselves up to be able to bring in the Fantastic Four and the mutants and use the multiverse to explain it all. And that works, and it doesn't work on so many different levels, because like in the article it says, there are going to be plot holes and different things that they can explain then at the same time, they didn't really have a good way to set up mutants, because it's like, where have they been? So, that's kind of where we're at with this. I kind of want to, I'd like to go deeper into it, but right now we don't really have all of the information. We don't really know exactly what they're planning to do, but we know it's coming up soon. Now, with the upcoming Hawkeye Disney Plus show, that's also showing that it's going to have possibly some variants in it. And that show has a lot of things going on, because they're saying that the Kingpin's going to show up in that show. So that could start to possibly explain where all these characters have been. I also heard that the Punisher would be featured in one of these shows, Disney Plus shows as well, coming up. And also Jessica Jones has been rumored. Just as far as an update, don't know if the actor that plays Luke Cage is coming back, but there is a planned Heroes for Hire Disney Plus series that may be announced when they do their next show's announcements for what's coming, what's to come from Disney Plus. So we'll have to see. It's a lot of stuff going on, but this is exciting times, because we're on the precipice of really big things in the MCU and getting these explanations. And you got a lot of things shooting. You got a lot of things coming forth. You got a lot of new characters coming. So let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. Does this, take away the argument for you as far as what's canon, what's not? Because now we can just say it's all canon under the multiverse, or until they actually say something that's still the sacred timeline, which you consider canon. But let me know down in the comment section. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.